So a few years back, I believe about 6 years ago or 7 years now, I just did a course about IT management and cybersecurity. And in that course, the cybersecurity side was much more appealing to me than the IT management. And after I finished the course and worked a few years in the IT department, I decided to study some more and complete the cybersecurity side of things. I did a much longer course and took a bunch of exams, and I really liked the penetration test side of things, to simulate an hacker attacks or know how hackers think. So after I finish everything, a little bit of practice at home, of course, only legal stuff and only places where I'm allowed to, to do it. And then Cybecs found me. I got
So they
a call
found you,
from
huh?
Nitzan. Yeah.
So you were not necessarily a child hacker, someone that just wanted to get into systems and try. So I understand it's not always like that. Not someone who just plays with computer software and tests it out every day and wants to see how he can crawl through the internet and try. No, it wasn't your case, and what I understand.
No, when I was little, I always liked the messing around in computers, but nothing like hackers. More on the technical side, fixing stuff, things like that. But after I saw the cybersecurity side, I really liked it, and that opened my eyes, and I saw myself working in it for a long time.
That is amazing. That is there's always that spark, something that gets you through the door that really makes you want to join a certain industry. And it doesn't always. Everybody's got a different path. It doesn't have to be a traditional path. Like people think that hackers are just brainiac kids that have this incredible aptitude for just computer science, and they'll just sit all day long and try to break things and try to hack. It's not necessarily the case. As I've met recently, a lot of ethical hackers that just joined this industry, but because they were just curious at a later age in life. Some of them even came from different courses and subjects in university and higher academy. They were just curious about this whole industry and what makes a hacker, what makes these people even tick. They got into it by taking just network engineering courses, and they learned a little bit about the fundamentals of IoT, and then they just wanted to go deeper and deeper into the subject, and they found this whole ocean of IoT, and specifically in ethical hacking, which is there's a lot going on with that as well, and they just okay. I want to be an ethical hacker. This is something that I see myself doing as a career opportunity. And I want to discuss with you about something that usually happens to people that get into different industries at their early stages. There are always those challenges that everybody is facing with. Is there something that you can share a little bit about your early stages in your career path, something that you came across that was a challenge, or something that really gogged your not just curiosity, your technical aptitude, and you had to go a little bit above and beyond to resolve? Is there a case that you would like to share, something that happened, without mentioning obviously the company and revealing anything that could potentially disclose too many details?
Yeah, I had to do a few PTs when a few penetration tests with no tools. This is
oh wow.
some of the restrictions. Some of the restrictions that the company that hired us asked us. No tools, very limited environment. It was a very sensitive system. With people pays. Of course, I had a test environment, but a lot of money go through the system. And it took me about a week to study the system completely. I never saw it before. Studied completely to be able to exploit it and to basically get any documents or any sensitive information or any paycheck or anything like that I want from the system. repeatedly. This is the one example that with no tools, with nothing, they wanted to see what can be done, and it was a lot of work, a lot of failures in the process, but in the end, I was able to break it and do my job basically, which is break developers' hopes.
That is incredible. There is some sort of satisfaction, right? When you're able to, when you're I mean, you're entering a vault, so you have to figure out anything that could work. Meaning, literally, I'm thinking as a vault. When that's how hackers think. Like, how do I enter this vault? And you have to figure out any sequence that could just literally let you through the door. So, tell us a little bit about that mindset of the mindset that. What is the mindset of someone that is an ethical hacker and in general? A pen tester.
The mindset of someone like a penetration tester or an hacker is other people, when they see a web page or a mobile app or even their company computers, they took everything for granted. We have these options we can do, we have this website. A penetration tester or an hacker need to be able to see it and think to himself, how can I bypass it? And see the little connection between the APIs or in the other endpoints. See the connection, put them together like puzzle to be able to move past the restriction that they gave us or that they put on us.
Interesting.
This is the only way you can ever succeed. You have to, as I said, it's like a puzzle. You have to complete the puzzle to be able to fully exploit it.
Interesting. And you're the red team manager, so you're currently working with your own team, and wherever you're assigned to a project or a specific company that you're working with, and the goal may be different. Obviously, it's a case per case per industry. How do you foster innovation with your team, creativity? How do you get them to think like you and to think outside the box?
So I believe that I don't want them to think like me, because everyone in my team or any person that I will bring to my team, I believe he have its own uniqueness to his thought process. If I will tell him do this, that, and that like a robot, the penetration test and the results will be bad, because he will try to think like me. I want every one of them to think for themselves and have their open mindset for, of course, when I suggest someone or when someone else in the team suggests stuff. But to work on that, to work on everyone's strength, we're doing, I'm trying to do with them. Sometimes the work, put it aside, but we're doing a team challenges or like try Acme or Hack the Box and break machines together to see how each of us think and learn a few things. I believe you can learn from anyone. Just because I'm the manager, it doesn't mean I don't learn from them and they don't learn from me.
That is so true. That is so true. Many times, as I was told by one of the Cybecs high level manager, and one of them informed me that it's very true. I always saw him as the top authority. I said, you know, you're the CTO of the company, and you have so much knowledge about ethical hacking, about how to build system and configure. He said, and he told me, Teddy, I always, you'll be surprised. I know a lot, but I keep meeting younger people in the industry that it's just astonishing how much new knowledge they have, and how many new things I'm learning myself from them. So it's an evolving industry. That's what we always need to remember. So there's always somebody new that's developing a new tool or a different language that you're working with, and you can always gain different insights and broaden your thinking, especially when we're looking into vulnerabilities and exploiting them, and how to even enter these systems and software applications. I know you were recently published in AWS Cloud Security. You wrote an article there?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, great. Would love to hear a little bit about it. Share with me a little bit about that.
It wasn't a very large article. They just wanted my point of view as a RETI manager about. I chose the topic AWS,
Oh,
the
okay.
cloud security, and how it affects the penetration test, and what can be tested, or how what the best mindset to test. It's not very in depth. It's just overview as the manager, not very technical article.
It's more to just give the solutions that can work with AWS and invite a little bit the readers to learn about different methods and strategies. Something that was fascinating to me to ask you. You know, you're always looking for the best people for the job. You know, great talent, people that have skills, people. How would you encourage the younger generation to get into this type of area field? And what are your best? What is your best advice to them? What are your personal recommendations?
So my best advice is, first of all, if you don't fully connect or fully love this type of job, it will be a waste of time, because I saw people who think that penetration testing, I will work in a PT for 1 or 2 years, and then I move on for anything, for something else or better. And usually those kind of people don't give the best results, because their mind is somewhere else. It's not interesting. What I'm looking in penetration testers, it's people with curiosity, because for every penetration test that you do, it's not about the job. It's not about the I need the deadline for the penetration test. It's about the curiosity. It's a personal challenge. I want to break it. I want to bypass all the restriction or and find the vulnerabilities. I want to fully exploit it, because it's a very much a personal challenge. And when you succeed in that, you get a little bit of an adrenaline rush.
Right.
When you find the big vulnerability
yes.
or the sensitive data.
Right. It could be very exciting. Beyond the technical aspects of your job, what do you find most rewarding about cybersecurity in general? When you're working in such a industry, what is the greatest satisfaction of it?
Helping our companies stay safe. A lot of time I see as a part of my job in the red team, we're also doing awareness campaigns, phishing, smishing, or just awareness videos, and we send it to companies, and we see that most of the people or most of the companies, both in the awareness side and the penetration test and the security side, don't have any clue about security, and they are very vulnerable. And it's almost sometimes surprising how easily we can do this stuff, or trick people to open anything that we want, or reveal sensitive information. So when we teach them, and when we help them close that vulnerability, or that help that employees, it's what reward us. For me,
Yeah, of course.
at least for me.
It's a great satisfaction. I mean, in general, we understand that, especially there was recently a Netflix movie that was very famous that touched the topic, and it's people understand today that it's not just it's not just a term. Like, these things have serious consequences on businesses and people's lives, with privacy, data. There's a lot going on with that, from hacking to celebrities' phones to banks and airplanes and control towers. It's a very big deal, and it's a very serious topic that the whole populace is starting to take it much more seriously.
There is basically the entire network. Is at war with itself. Everyone trying to attack everyone,
Right.
both for political reason and
Right.
financial gain, and we're here to stop it,
And
or at least
nobody
defend
gets
our
to,
customers and ourselves.
which is amazing, because nobody gets to see it. It's literally the movie was called "Leave the World Behind," and nobody gets to see it. People that work in offices, people that manage businesses. It's a hidden world that you have to deal with every day. that we're not always aware of, which has always been fascinating to me, because there's something very unique of that, that type of mindset or philosophy. The people who work in those industries, they just ignore the noise, and they realize that the silence doesn't necessarily mean there's silence happening now. Any second a storm could happen, and we have to deal with that. That is phenomenal. It's very interesting to hear from a first-hand perspective. Lastly, I want to ask you, how do you balance your demanding? I mean, this is a demanding career, obviously. It requires a lot from you in terms of working zones. I mean, you may work with an international bank somewhere in Singapore. You may work with other countries.
There was an interference. I didn't hear you. Sorry, Ready?
Sorry, there was an interference. How do you? I want to ask you, how do you balance? This is a very demanding career, and you sometimes have to work on different time zones, because you could be working with a different a business from a different or a company from a different country. You could be working with Singapore. You could be working the next day with New York. You could be working also with Africa. I know there's a lot of expansion for Cybecs in these regions. How do you balance it with your day-to-day? I mean, with your hobbies, your personal interests, and life? And if you have any advice to give to people that are working really hard in this industry, and they're like, how do I learn to balance this? Is there really a work-life balance, and as a penetration tester, as a manager that leads such a division?
Yeah, so at least for the red team side, it's not that hard to keep a work-life balance, because most of the companies, even in other time region, they don't like us to work on their website, or don't want us on the when there are a lot of traffic, or also a lot of workers in the internal network. So with most of the time, I believe I never had a problem with the time zone. Maybe they ask us to not start on a Sunday, because here we work on Sundays. But most of the time, we don't have any problem with that. We can be quiet as we want, and if we are allowed to, we can be as noisy as we want. It all depends on the customer and his needs. But in the penetration testing side, there are not many that much surprises, because you do the project, you continue to another one, you write the report. You don't affect the businesses that much that you will need to schedule an off time most of the time. An off time or need a special permission. Of course, sometimes we need to go over and do the physical penetration test, go to the company, but and that requires some things. But most of the time, work-life balance is good. Not for the manager. I have a late night calls sometimes with customers from the other side, but as I keep my team separate for that. I take it on me.
It's important. It's important. Thank you. It's good. It's good advice for people that are just thinking about getting into the industry to tell themselves, okay, there is a way to do this, and I'm going to have to interview some professionals or managers and to get the best out of my career, and also the best out of my time. And how do I apply it? Definitely, I agree with you. Oh, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and learning more about what you do in your day-to-day and how you contribute to the success and the security of many businesses around the world. Generally, not every day we get to, there's a lot of YouTube, there's not a lot of them, but there's some YouTube videos that speak about, ethical, about hackers in general, and it's glorified a little, but it's great to know the people behind the scenes that keep the company secure, not the ones that are just trying to break them and destroy them, and hear their side of the story. So it's been really fascinating. Thank you again. We would love to do of course, you're welcome. We'd love to do a follow-up with you in the future and see how things are evolving and what are your new challenges and different interesting stories that you have to share with us from the field. So thank you again, Or. I wish you a beautiful, prosperous.
Thank you.